I'm Matt, and this is my brother Zach, and we're making a video game called Grommet Chod. It's a turn-based creature battler that takes inspiration from Magic the Gathering and competitive Pokemon. It'll feature an online multiplayer mode as well as a single-player roguelike. When we showed off the game in our first devlog, basically everything was designed tentatively, roughly getting parts in place to test out the core mechanics with the intent to come back later for a facelift. Well, in the 2 months since then, I've been busy doing just that, and I'm really happy with the direction it's going. So here's how I took the project from this to this over the last couple months. I knew this wasn't going to cut it, but I'm pretty inexperienced when it comes to the whole visual art thing, so I usually have to spend a lot of time implementing a new idea just to realize it doesn't look right. I tried creating a simple isometric background scene, and I felt very underwhelmed by the result. Surely this could have been tweaked to improve it, but I found myself wanting something entirely different. So why even use a 2D scene to try and fake 3D space? Well, for one, Zach and I don't know how to 3D model. I've always planned to dedicate the time to learn it at some point, but we already have so much to do and figure out for Grommet Chod, and with plans to create 100 plus characters, this would be a very tall order. But then I remembered one of my favorite games from recent years, Cult of the Lamb. It's a gorgeous looking game in 3D space, but without a 3D model in sight. Maybe 3D doesn't have to be so scary after all. So I changed our scene in Unity from 2D to 3D and started rearranging everything. I created a placeholder background, added some lighting, tweaked creature materials to cast shadows, and already I knew I was going in the right direction. For now, our background is just this boring gray tile grid, but we plan on creating lots of fun scenes soon. Some of our ideas are a locker room, an office, the inside of someone's mouth, an old western town, and grandma's house. If you have any interesting ideas for scenes, drop them in the comments and they might just make it into our game. Things were starting to look better, but I never really liked this card design in the first place, and now with the scene in 3D, the cards just looked especially flat and out of place. I was brainstorming with Zach, explaining how I wanted a chunkier design that felt almost more like a cartridge than a card, and his response was, well, what if we actually just made them cartridges? Brilliant. It can still be a trading card style game without trading cards. So I bought a 3D model of an SD card and used stencil masks to give the UI this illusion of impossible depth. Proud of myself, I shared the new design in our Discord to get some feedback. Fushigi was right. We couldn't just have SD cards float around and poof a creature into existence. The SD card technology implied something about the world that we were building, and we needed to follow through with that logic. So I started to envision some kind of device that could read the data off an SD card and use it to manifest a creature. I love the aesthetic of early 2000s technology and wanted something with that bulky, rounded design, and of course, the colorful, translucent plastic. This was a pretty custom object, so I hired a 3D artist on Fiverr to model it for me. This is what we ended up with. It looks like some kind of dumb toy from my childhood, and that's exactly what I wanted. I love it. It ended up being a little too tall when I brought it into the scene, so I had to take out the little screen and sink it into the floor to make it lower profile. I was a little sad about this because I wanted to work the screen into the UI somehow, but I think that would have made the UI a little more difficult to read and less intuitive, so it was probably for the best. Next, I created a new animation to insert the cards into the slot at the top of the platform. I also put together a shader graph to create this summoning effect, complete with sound effects. I also felt like the pixel art UI was really difficult to read, so I reworked all of it to make it look much cleaner. Finally, to complete this Y2K tech aesthetic, I created a shader graph to give everything this CRT effect. That was a lot of work on the battle scene. But there's more. This is what the old deck builder and main menu looked like. Yes, this definitely needed to be reworked, so I rebuilt it all from scratch. I created a similar gray tile room as a placeholder, and put the menu elements in physical space, having the camera move around to navigate the pages. We plan on eventually making this room customizable, but more on that in a later video. For the deck builder, Zach found this briefcase 3D model and modified it to have SD card slots. These are now deck cases that you can create, modify, and equip from this menu. That catches us up to just about everything I've implemented as of the time I'm recording this, but Zach has been hard at work too. Stay tuned for an update on multiplayer functionality and more from him soon. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. If you want to be involved in playtesting in the future, join our Discord, the link is in the description. We also post more frequent updates there and get a lot of ideas and feedback from our members. One final update, Zach and I have been having a ton of fun making the soundtrack for Grommet Chod, and we've built up a pretty big catalog of tracks already. So we've been releasing one a week to streaming services. We're already on week 10 and we're not running out of music anytime soon. So go check them out, we're really proud of our growing soundtrack. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.